my name's Joseph. Welcome to episode 5 of the Eclectic Philatelist, Mysteries from the Maldives. The Maldive Islands are a group of about 1,200 islands in the Indian Ocean. About 220 or so are inhabited. The Sultanate was part of the Ceylon possessions that were ceded to Britain by the Dutch in 1796, but they made a separate protectorate in 1887, administered by the governor of Ceylon. It did become an independent sovereign state on the 26th of July, 1965, and was declared a republic on 11 November 1968. The map here will show some of the islands of the Maldives. It is a very popular tourist destination currently. Now, what do I mean by the mysteries from the Maldives? Well, in 1992, Maldives issued a set of 16 souvenir stamps, souvenir sheets, describing mysteries of the universe. And we're going to take a look at those 16 stamps today. But the Maldives also have kind of a mysterious and supernatural history to the islands themselves. For example, the current national emblem for the Maldives focuses on a coconut tree. And I'll put a little graphic up on the screen here. Now, one of the myths or one of the legends from the Maldive Islands says that the first inhabitants of the Maldives died in great numbers due to starvation, and there wasn't a lot of food available. But a great sorcerer made coconut trees grow out of the skulls of buried corpses of the first settlers. Therefore, the coconut tree is said to have an origin from this supernatural source, according to the Maldive ancient lore. The tuna fish is also said to have been brought to the Maldivian waters by a mythical seafarer who went close to a mythical tree at the end of the world and then brought that valuable fish to the islands. The other myth that's associated with the Maldive Islands is sadly something that may be coming true in the future. There was a myth that always told of the end of the Maldives and that it would end with a great catastrophe where the islands will be submerged by the surrounding ocean. Well, the Maldives have a very, very low altitude above sea level, or elevation above sea level. They're only a few meters above sea level. And more with the changing climate, there's a danger that the Maldive Islands will be submerged. And a recent study released by some climatologists associated with the UN and some others around the world who are studying this effect, it's estimated that is possibly as soon as the year 2100, all of the Maldive Islands could be submerged and could be underwater. So a myth that may very well come true in the future. But let's focus on the stamps for today, the 16 souvenir sheets entitled Mysteries of the Universe. The first stamp in the series here depicts the famous Loch Ness Monster. There have been over 2,000 reported sightings of some kind of a sea serpent or a monster at Loch Ness. I like these souvenir sheets because they have, I think, a great little graphic of the purported monster and kind of a fascinating little excerpt about the number of sightings or something, just enough to prompt you to perhaps do a little bit more research and dig into them a little bit more. So the Loch Ness Monster is the first one of the 16. The next stamp in the series depicts the German Zeppelin, the Hindenburg, and there's still a little bit of a purported controversy about the actual crash of the Hindenburg and what caused it. Was it just a natural failure of the craft itself, or was there sabotage involved and some spy stories and things like this that revolve around the story of the Hindenburg? There's a ton of information out there. I think this particular stamp would also be a great addition to a topical collection of perhaps Zeppelins and other airships. So one of the purposes of today's video is to take a look at these mysteries of the universe and see what other topical collections each stamp might become a part of and could fit in as well. So if you're thinking about starting a new topical collection, maybe take a look at some of these as a starting point. More on that at the end of the video. The next stamp depicts the crystal skulls. These were found in South America, Central America, and the idea behind these, or why it's such a mystery, they are believed to be either Aztec or perhaps Mayan in origin, but the skulls themselves are carved from crystal, and they're very intricate, very detailed, and it's unsure who may have actually carved these because some experts don't believe that the Mayan or Aztec cultures have the skill or ability to create these crystal skulls. So this is another pretty interesting stamp. There is a lot of information out there on the internet if you want to explore these, but the crystal skulls is stamp number 3 in this series. The next stamp I like a lot. This one depicts black holes. And the premise here and a little bit of text under the stamp talks about the great effect that could be possible of traveling through a black hole. And there's been many science fiction stories and movies that talk about black holes and could they be related to time travel if a spaceship got sucked into a black hole or things like this? Could it lead to an alternate universe or a different dimension? So, mysteries of the universe, black holes, what are they really? What happens if you should get sucked into one? In 1947, in the state of Washington, a man sighted 9 objects flying in the sky. He described them as having a shape similar to a saucer. And this sighting and the news stories that came about because of this sighting actually gave the term saucer to what we now often refer to or hear of as flying saucers. 1947, another mysteries of the universe stamp. In 1973, 4 Army officers who were flying almost collided with the craft depicted upon this stamp. They weren't sure what it was. It was a great mystery. It was something that was never solved or never described by anyone. The picture on the stamp comes from sketches that were made by the Army officers that had this experience. In 1986, the nuclear power plant at Chernobyl had a catastrophic meltdown and an explosion. The mysteries that still surrounds Chernobyl is the long-term effects of the radiation and the radioactivity in the area. Will Chernobyl ever be safe to have the area occupied again? Another mystery of the universe. Crop circles. This stamp depicts some of the crop circles that were found in Great Britain, especially in southern Britain. Now, some hoaxers or people who have stepped forward to claim that they created these crop circles have been found to be truthful, that they did actually create some of these, but there is no evidence, and they never claimed that they created all of them. And all total around the world, there's been over 2,000 reportings of crop circles. Who created them? Where did they come from? What did the designs mean? Mysteries. Have you ever been to a haunted house? A haunted graveyard? A haunted place somewhere on a dark and stormy night? Ghosts. Ghosts depicted upon this stamp. One of the great mysteries. Are they real? Are they not? Could they be part of a topical stamp collection? Are there other ghosts on stamps? The Plains of Nazca. These symbols that some people think depict giant birds are said to be possibly 2,000 years old. These creations or these lines on the plains can be seen from aircraft flying overhead from quite a high altitude. Who made these? What do they mean? Are these symbols of birds? Are they symbols of something else? What's your guess? Another very famous image, the Stonehenge. Some of these giant stones can weigh as much as 45 tons. There are some estimates that this was over 1,000 years old. What's the purpose of Stonehenge? Who made them? Many questions remain. Again, could this be a lead-in or another stamp to another type of topical collection? Perhaps monuments of this type that are scattered around the world? Are there other stamps available? Sounds like a web search may be in order. The philosopher Plato, in his writings, described Atlantis, described its birth, how Atlantis was very advanced in a civilization, and how it finally died and disappeared due to all volcanic eruptions and disappeared beneath the sea. Was Atlantis real? Did it really exist? Could it ever be found beneath the sea? Was Plato writing fiction, or was he writing historical fact? In the Himalayas, there's been thousands of sightings of the Yeti or the abominable snowman. Sometimes these tracks can measure 16 inches in length and 7 inches wide. Are there such creatures? Could they be related to other similar creatures in other parts of the world, such as Bigfoot? Mystery of the universe. The Pyramids of Giza, another one of these mysteries that's been unexplained. Were these just funeral tombs for emperors? Modern archaeologists don't think so. There are some indications that especially the main pyramid may have had some other purpose that they don't quite understand. Many of these stones can weigh as much as 45 tons. How are they put in place? What was the design? Was there a purpose behind these pyramids? The Bermuda Triangle. Many ships, many aircraft have been lost in this area. Coincidence, just because it's a heavily trafficked area? Or is there some mystery, some unexplained force causing these disappearances of aircraft and ships over the years? You tell me. What's your guess? Finally, the last stamp. In 1872, a cargo ship known as the Marie Celeste, or sometimes the Marie Celeste, was found drifting off the Azores. The entire crew was missing. The cargo was still on board. The lifeboat was missing, but where would a crew go? Why would they abandon ship? The ship could still be sailed. It was fine. The other passing ship that found the Marie Celeste actually sailed it to port afterwards. The original logbook is missing, but there were transcriptions made of the logbook over the years, and they really don't describe what happened. Everything seemed to be normal. One interesting fact about this, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes fame wrote a little story about the Marie Celeste, a little fictional short story where the villain and the cause of the disappearance was a sailor gone mad. What do you think? What could have caused the disappearance of the entire crew of this ship in 1872? So here are 16 stamps from the Maldives, the mysteries of the universe. These 16 stamps can make a great topical collection by themselves, but I'm going to put out a little challenge to my viewers here. And I'm going to do this myself. When I first acquired this set of the 16 stamps, I thought that one of these days I was going to pick one of those stamps and see if I could build a topical collection around the theme of that particular stamp. And so I'm going to be starting this quite soon. And for you, the viewers, if any of you have a topical collection that may currently be related to one of these 16 stamps, I'm going to ask you to share that on Facebook, on the Eclectic Philatelist Facebook group. If you don't currently have anything, I challenge you to try and create one. Pick one of these 16 stamps and see if you can build a little topical collection around the theme of one of the stamps that you picked. On Facebook, there is a Facebook group titled the Eclectic Philatelist. If you search for that, and after a few weeks or a month or so, if you've come up with the start of a little topical collection based on a theme of one of these mysteries, please post it to that Facebook group. I'd love to see it. I think other viewers would like to see what you've come up with as well. And I think I just might run a little giveaway where I'll pick at random one of the collections that anyone posts to that Facebook group, and the random pick will win a little prize that I'll send out to the winner. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, the Mysteries of the Universe set of souvenir sheets from the Maldives. Please give this video a like, please subscribe to the channel. Happy collecting, and I'll see you in the next video.